Welcome everyone to the South Russell Village Special Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, January the 9th. The fiscal officer will take the roll.
Bridger is absent. Canton.
Here.
Kavanaugh is absent. Philippi.
Here.
Porter.
Here.
Bell.
Here. This is a special council meeting, which means we can only talk about three things: crosswalks, sidewalks, and path. Basically, that's the village up there. We did send out a survey included in our newsletter. Went out to 1,400 homes. We got 8 responses. We did a newsletter with a survey probably in 2021. We received 56 responses, which is about 4%, which is usually in survey thinking that's good. 8's disappointing. But what we've heard, requests have come in for the following: a crosswalk from Sugarbush to Gurney School, right across the street from the house. Second request is a crosswalk from Alderwood to the park. But basically, we may have to move it a little bit, but basically it's coming right across the street. Third request was a possible crosswalk to the restaurants on East Washington. Location wasn't specified. Also had requests for sidewalks in the in the Rolling Ridge, which would be Daisy Hill, Forest, Woodside, Deerfield area. And the other request was for a path of some sort along Bell to and from the park. You will notice I did not have our engineer or our solicitor here because we wanted to see the interest of the community before we start spending any money on this issue. The engineer did look at it, and we have some general ideas as to what it would take. With that, anyone in council would like to speak? That, I think, pretty much lays out what we have heard so far. Anybody from council? Okay.
I think you said it well, Mayor. We're hoping to hear from the audience.
All right, Brian, you were the first one to get here. You've lived here all your life. Brian, give us your name, address, and then the floor is yours.
You know, and we worked for 20 years. So,
The adventure package.
yeah, we did say, yeah. So I'm Brian Morrison from 20 Woodside Road. And as indicated, I was actually brought home from the hospital to Daisy Lane. So, just a couple of points, and appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. On the front page of our website, it reads South Russell is a home to 4,000 residents, located at the western edge, is 4 miles long, a mile wide. And here's the thing, it's a unique character and rural at home place to return. I did it. I'm not sure if rural charm and sidewalks coincide. So I just have a couple of points. I'll just start with back in 2004, 2005, South Russell bought most of the property. And one of the main, there's a lot of good points to it, but one of the things that was brought up was stormwater. And we did not line up a development in South Russell Park because it was just mean more hard surfaces and sidewalks. So it just gave us a park, less hard surfaces, no sidewalks. Secondly, you know, you guys have worked awfully hard with stormwater. Stormwater was a thing even 20 years ago. You guys have been working awfully hard. So, you know, I just wondered, adding sidewalks and more hard surfaces would would make it so that, you know, it takes away from your hard work because of, you know, less drainage and more concrete. So, part of the notice was to consider sidewalks in the Rolling Ridge community. I will tell you that my dad bought that property, and then if you look on the deed, and it, at the county record, it says C.W. Morrison, planted as C.W. Morrison. So with Cedric Morrison buying that property and setting the deed, he set some deed restrictions. And one of them was to maintain the ditches in the community. And I'm not sure if the sidewalks would coincide with ditches. And of course, the ditches, but again, we go back to the stormwater abatement. So I would just say to the council and mayor, you may want to check the deed restrictions for that before you start work. And, you know, as you alluded to, as I said, there was a 20-year period that I wasn't here. I was actually in the military traveling around, and I had a great opportunity to live in Germany. And I was always impressed with the paths and the parks in Germany. I'd go out and walks on the weekend, and just in different parts of Germany. And the paths and the way you can get around from parks to community, it was a great thing. We'll go back to the deed restrictions of the deed. I don't know, you know, funny thing, I'm the son of a real estate developer, but I know nothing about real estate. I'm an engineer by trade, so. But I do know that it was mentioned around the kitchen table, and it's been mentioned to me since I returned, that I think in the deed for the Road Bridge area, there is a stipulation to maintain a path on the back end of the back property line or the perimeter of that community. So something to look at. So I appreciate your time. And hopefully, and by the way, love what you want the crosswalks. Such a good idea. So.
Okay. I think everyone got an agenda on the back of it, or someplace on the agenda that tells how we're supposed to do this. So I forgot to spell everything out, but basically I'll ask for your name and address. I give you 5 minutes. After 3 minutes, I'll stick up 2 fingers just to let you know. All right, who wants to be next?
I'll go.
Okay, name, address, and
So my name's Adam Henry. My address is 12 Forest Drive. I had no idea we'd be speaking tonight's meeting, so I'm just gonna wing it. But we're excited about the opportunity for sidewalks. So we're in the Rolling Ridge community. I've got 2 kids. I live next to my sister. She has 3 kids. They play with all the kids in the neighborhood. So at any given time, there's 12 kids at her house, which is fun, which is awesome. And having an opportunity for those kids to get from our house to their house safely on the sidewalk would be great, because it gets dark early in Ohio just because of where we live and the sun and the moon and all that stuff. We also like the idea of connecting the school system. So having a opportunity for our kids to be able to go from our house to Gurney on a sidewalk is really neat. Right now, I'm afraid to have our kids go on Daisy Lane, even with us. Like when we're riding our bikes, it's okay. We're not going to go on Daisy Lane because it's a cut-through street. It's busy. It's just busy, and people go fast, and there's not a lot of sidewalk. There's not a lot of berm room. And, it's dangerous for kids, especially if they're a little shaky on bikes and all that. So having the ability for our kids to get from our house to Gurney, or in the future get from our house to the intermediate school, as those connect, or the high school, or the whatever school it is, that interconnectedness of this community is a really special thing for us, and one of the reasons that we love to live here. So I would just say, I don't know. We're for whatever, I don't know what the cost is or how it's paid for. I'm sure you guys will work all that out, the easements and everything that's going to go into it. It's labor intensive, and I applaud you guys for taking on this endeavor. But it is a special thing for the younger families in this area. And another thing is, this is a thriving area right here. So we got the Sleepy Rooster, and even this gas station. I mean, I come to this gas station for dinner on a regular basis.
Pizza's really good.
The pizza's great, the burgers are great. I mean, it's just, having that interconnectedness of where you can come up here, walking or riding your bike or whatever it is, and be able to get to and from your house to all of these different, family-friendly locations. That's why we live here. So making it more accessible, we're willing to help foot that bill, whatever it is. So I will yield the rest of my time to anybody else who needs it.
Thank you, Adam. Who'd like to go next?
Bill Stone, 137 Fairview. Was not aware of the survey, so I apologize. I would have got that in there, and perhaps you could brought up this at the beginning. This is something that wasn't on the agenda, but other than the eastern end of Chagrin Falls Heights neighborhood, and although, our neighborhood probably doesn't need sidewalks, we walk the dog, we probably see a car go by usually. What would be nice is if we had a sidewalk that would connect our neighborhood to the Chagrin Falls sidewalks. I walk frequently in Chagrin Falls. My daughter walks in to see a friend, and you've got two areas to get into Chagrin Falls from our neighborhood. One's at the Hazelwood end and Walters end. The other's at Bell. And sidewalks stop, I guess, at maybe possibly the Tyler County line, perhaps. I'm not sure.
Pretty close.
But I did very precise measurement of my car odometer a couple times, maybe 1,000 feet or so, give or take, could connect our neighborhood, which, Chagrin Falls Heights, maybe about 180 houses. That includes some that are in Russell Township, I know. About 170 houses in Country Estates, 350 households total would have access, safer access, I should say. If you're walking on the north end, trying to get into town off the Hemlock area, you've got steep ravines and cars that are, they're going more than 35 miles an hour as they come from the 35 to the 25 zone. Tough section of road to walk. Uneven terrain, not much room to get off the road when a car comes. At the other end of the road, you've got a curve that makes it difficult to get out of the end of Fairview, across the street, maybe to some flatter ground. But I just, thought I'd bring that up. So you get a couple safety things, and maybe 1,000 feet of sidewalk coverage might help out a lot of households with safer walk. That's it.
Thank you, Bill. Okay. Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go. I also wasn't planning on speaking, but my name is Shannon Geiger. I live at 404 Reserve Trail, and I am also a teacher at the intermediate school, so I have kids, and I'm also coming from like a parent's perspective as well as a teacher school's perspective. And similar to what was already stated, I would absolutely love to connect the South Russell part of the school district to the Chagrin part of the school district, just we have a lot of events, specifically at the intermediate school, where it's walk to school, walk to town, bike to town, and it is quite dangerous for our kids in South Russell, so we do have drop-off zones, but then we're still, as parents, driving them to drop off to then walk to school. It kind of seems a little backwards, but we do it because we want our kids to be safe. I know I have a son who's in 6th grade, getting ready to go to middle school too, and I know he loves to ride his bike, loves to ride his scooters, all those things, and even being able to go to middle school for sports practices. I'm terrified to have him go on Bell, just because of, they're my precious things, and I don't want a car to bump into him, and we know exactly like you're saying, people don't follow the speed limit. Crosswalks would be fantastic too for the park. I live right across the street from that park, and they go all the time, and I'm like, please, look left, look right, look left, look right. Do it like 10 times before you cross, just because it doesn't take long for somebody to zoom right past that. So I don't know, I need to reiterate new things. I'm not so sure about the Rolling Ridge things. I don't feel like I can speak to that since I don't live in there, but any sidewalk is fantastic for me. I think we have a lot of new families that have moved into the area. We see younger people coming in and they want to walk, and people are running, biking, walking dogs, pushing strollers, all those things. So any type of accessibility is fantastic. And I agree, gas station pizza is the best. Thank you.
Okay.
And And I agree with the survey. I think I was one of the 8 that filled that out. But I just think that sometimes people don't know about it. And it's not for you do what you can.
Yeah.
I know.
Who wants to be next?
Hi, Danielle Sabo. I'm at 113 Waverly Lane. I'm here in my capacity as a community member. I'll just state that. And I don't have much more to add than everyone else has, except for the fact that I live right next to Gurney Elementary, and I drive the 1 minute every single morning, which is convenient, but also ridiculous to get my child to school, because he should be able to walk there, but it's completely unsafe for him to do so. My favorite memories growing up were walking to school every single day, walking home every single day with my brother and sister. And I would love him to have that same experience. Our neighborhood is literally filled with kids who go to Gurney, who go to the intermediate school, and to be able to have them have that opportunity. I know when we moved into the neighborhood 4 years ago, seeing how close we were to the park, I was immediately excited to be able to walk down there. My first time trying to, I almost got hit walking the strollers. So I was like, that's never gonna happen again, and I had to start driving my car down to the park. And again, that made me sad because I want to be able to walk around and, going down to the intermediate school and watching the kids be able to walk to and from school. I get a little bit jealous. So I want that for our kiddos. I also do know when I drop off my kid every single morning that I see 3 to 4 parents riding their bikes to school with their kids on the back of them. And I know that it would be incredibly more safe for them if they had access in that way, so.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Okay, we have 2 people who haven't talked. Ken?
What do you want me to say?
Gettysburg Address, followed by.
So, basically, I didn't like the idea of doing sidewalks primarily because of the rural nature of the community, where we are. This is very much like the town I grew up in, though it's not the town I grew up in. I've been here 40 years. My kids are gone now, but they used to do bikes and walking in the community without too much struggle. I did the same thing as a kid in town without sidewalks. But I don't want to be the Heights. I don't want to have streetlights, I don't want to have a lot of sidewalks. If a crosswalk would help at the school, I could see some value in that. I don't know if it would slow people down on Bell or not. But,
We're concerned about that.
yeah, I don't know if it would do it. I could see some value in doing it with the kids across the school, but otherwise I would want to see us put together a network of sidewalks and start the streetlights going. And also go back to the Heights.
Okay.
One lone person.
Would you like to speak? You don't have to.
You don't have to.
I'm Champagne. I live up 128 Fairview. I moved in a year and a half ago from out of state, and we accidentally moved into the best area. I don't even know how. We looked so looked at other areas, but we really love it. We like it being involved here. I like it. What everyone said. I guess my thoughts would be the easiest in the sidewalk topic would be, like it was mentioned, connecting Cuyahoga County to Chagrin Heights, I guess we're called, neighborhood.
Yes.
It's not very far. I've been walking around to the shopping area. There's the Hunan and the Ridge. There's a few restaurants and some stuff there. I walk over there for chiropractor and things, but getting from my neighborhood to Ridgeview, it's a little difficult crossing the street. So that would be my number one. And then, like I mentioned, just getting from the neighborhoods on the north side across Bell to the parks and other access would be helpful. But I know how hard sidewalks in Bell would be. That's a huge project. That's going to take a lot of research and planning. But the small section, at least into our neighborhood, would be something I think could be done pretty easily.
Okay. Thank you. Members of council want to speak about anything? If not, I'm going to speak up. I'm going to think and talk, so be ready.
Here's the-
Chris.
So in the last day and a half, 2 days, I've received 13 messages regarding this. People, and I'll screenshot those and send to all the council afterwards. I won't bore you and read them right now, just in essence of time. But 12 of them are very pro sidewalks along Bell or some kind of path, and one is against it. The common themes for those who are for it are, first and foremost, the kids and safety, safety for bicyclists. Second, traveling to Gurnee and also the intermediate school for students in the village, and also just traveling by bike or foot to go down to the Sugar Falls Village. I understand these kids. I used to ride my bike to what is now called the intermediate school. It used to be called the middle school from the other side of Sugar Falls, in the Moreland Hills area. And it was frightening at the time for sure, but I would say drivers are much more distracted today than they were 35, 40 years ago. So I can understand all these parents' concerns about Bell Road. I know every time my wife goes on her bicycle on Bell Road, I am concerned. People buzzing her, and it's happened. So I will share these messages with everybody. I'll screenshot them somehow and put them in a document for everybody to read so you can hear those residents' points of view.
Thank you.
For the parents, if there were sidewalks from essentially your house to Gurnee, middle school, high school, for the younger kids, would you walk with them or would they go by themselves?
I don't think at Gurnee they're allowed to walk by themselves. I don't think yet. I mean, maybe if there was something in place, it might be different. You know, at the intermediate school, kids can walk to and from school without supervision. So that, I don't know how to answer from a Gurnee's perspective with that. I know we cut through our neighborhood, through woods to sometimes go to Gurnee, but that's just based off of where our location is. I don't know if you.
Right now, we have a path that our neighborhood maintains in the woods, and it cuts through the softball fields, but again, our neighborhood has to maintain it, and it's cut through a person's backyard that they go out on their own and have to spray poison ivy in order to do that. I would say, at a certain age, I would feel somewhat comfortable, somewhat not comfortable. I don't want my son walking by himself. But because our neighborhood, he would be going to school with 3 kids that are all going to kindergarten together. I could see him by first, second grade walking to Gurnee, checking to see if they were allowed to, going together. Or one parent walking all of them together in the morning, like almost like a neighborhood thing.
That's probably more realistic.
Yeah, at that age.
Yes, but intermediate school, they're kind of free for all,
Yeah.
for better and for worse. Yeah.
Sarcastically, I'd say it depends on the morning. We may send them, depends on the morning. But in reality, so we live in the Rolling Ridge area, and we're able to pop out onto East Washington, where there's a big berm. And we ride our bikes down there with the kids on the back or on the front, wherever they're on the bike. Not on their own, because they're 4 and 6. And we ride down to the village. So there's a big berm going up to the village line, and then we go sidewalks, and we can ride up the sidewalks as necessary. So we probably do the same thing. If there's sidewalks here, we would put them on the bike and ride up to school. And again, unless they were unitary.
And thank you.
Sure.
If you recall, prior to the remodeling of the intermediate school, there was talk of building an extension to Gurnee, I believe. And one of the reasons why that wasn't done was because people of the village wanted the children to walk to school. Now, we moved to Warren, Ohio when I was 9, and lived in Warren until I was about 40. And going to school, I could ride my bicycle or I could walk sidewalk. I was a paper boy, forced to use the sidewalks as a paper boy. So I understand the desire for sidewalks. Now, I've mentioned this before in council, and I'll mention it again. I was told once by a wise person that there's no such thing as a problem, only solutions. So the idea is to find solutions. What will it take to build sidewalks? who's responsible for the maintenance of the sidewalks? Can we get the deed or the okay by the owners of the property to put sidewalks? So there's quite a few solutions we have to figure out before we can see this happen. But council's listening, no question about it.
Maybe sidewalks are a good idea. Maybe sidewalks are a good idea. When I was a kid, there was a tank at the armory. And we weren't allowed to cross 422 because that was 422. It was all good until, I don't know, it was myself and my brothers came home crying. There's a wasp nest on the tank. We got in trouble for crossing the street.
Now the crosswalks, we're going to have to educate our children and the adults in South Russell. If we build these crosswalks with flashing lights, that doesn't necessarily mean that the cars are going to stop. They still have to look both ways and to listen and to look before they cross the street. But that's a possibility.
Okay. Adam?
Is there any estimate or thought into the financial benefit to this area specifically with the sidewalk? Mainly, again, the gas station is being what it is and amazing food. But also the, the Sleepy Rooster and Augie's and all of this, with it being more accessible for people to be able to walk down here. I don't know if anybody's trying to go to Sleepy Rooster at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning, but you can't park here.
Yeah.
So being able to walk here, or ride your bike here, I mean, the financial impact of this area, I would say would be, there's gotta be some sort of impact in terms of people being able to come up here and not try to find a place to park in one of the minimal parking spaces that we have.
Bill?
Well, I was thinking, yeah, before I on some of the other comments, from my house, it takes me about 15 minutes to walk over to the high school. My daughter's just turned 16, and I drive her often, and it takes me about 20 minutes round trip to drive her. So she could walk quicker than I could drive her, right? And the point that I tell her almost every day, and teenager dad, right, in the car on those comments, but I don't know how many people, at some point it is further, and I live at the close end of things, and I know other people live at the far end of things, but to have that option of hey, you want to come or go at your time or something, go ahead and walk, would reduce traffic, I would think, at the school, which would be a good thing.
Your 16-year-old would be okay with walking?
Well.
Better watch out, Bill. She'll find a boyfriend just to drive her. Good luck. Anything else? I'm gonna wrap up if nobody has anything else. We've had some good comments. I'm thinking of getting here. I'm thinking like the farmer's market. People are walking, biking here. In Chagrin Falls, I would imagine everybody in this room has had at least one or two close calls in the village with cars and traffic and people. We did contact the Homeowners Association president for Rolling Ridge, which, it's where the big demand was for sidewalks. We've looked, we've looked at the funding. That's going to be, we love, and these guys up here love to have somebody else pay for it. So that's one of the things we would look into. We have a good relationship with NOACA, and that's where the money is. They're going to they've given us $1.2 million to redo Bell Road probably in 2025.
Bell Road East.
Bell Road East, yes.
East of Bell and 306 to the Newberry line.
Will that include a bike path on it, or just be the same width?
Don't know, concerned about the big hill and engineering of going down Bell, what would be done there. Last night at the council meeting, the chief brought up our crashes have increased because of distracted driving. We've even contacted Bike Ohio, who will provide paint to paint your crosswalks. Try to get the community involved and do something out of the ordinary to try to just draw more attention to crosswalks. Our engineer did look at some sort of path, just roughly, but we haven't done anything specific yet. I think at this time, we have some balance of our issues with our committees. But I think what we should consider is on the next meeting, next council meeting is Monday the 22nd, is to consider if maybe the safety committee would look into the crosswalks and maybe the streets committee would look into the sidewalks and paths. Yes, we would have to decide how we want to split that up as far as workload, but at least we can start looking into this. I would tell all your friends and neighbors, don't expect, you're not going to have a crosswalk or a path this spring. Something we would look into. We need to know, again, who pays for it, the right of way. There's a lot of issues. Keep looking to the newsletter. It's our best way to communicate with you, to say the next meeting would be, maybe we'll have something by June to say, this is what the committees have looked into and this is what we can report back to you. Other than that, if nobody has anything else, thank you all again for coming. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Bell, seconded by Canton. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. We can stick around and talk informally for a few minutes.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, thanks again.